Richard Rodgers with a walk-off touchdown. Total disbelief at Ford Field.
He may go all the way to the 20 down the right side, and there's Randall Cobb to the 5, to the end zone, to the touchdown. Oh my goodness.
Welcome, everyone, to the Green and Golden Boys Packers podcast, the podcast for Packer fans who are going to pretend like they didn't want OBJ on their team anyway. I am Charles, and with me, as always, is Marcus. Marcus, how the heck are you?
Hey, Charles, doing well, and yourself?
I'm good. I'm a little bummed. I've been refreshing the Twitter page all day today, and right before we got to recording, I saw OBJ to the Los Angeles Rams. How do you feel about that?
I don't feel great about it. I mean, I think all of us would have liked him, to go somewhere else, AFC preferably. I was joking with a buddy of mine today that he's probably going to end up on Tampa Bay, but he ended up in LA, which I'm not sure if it's better or worse. I'm going to lean towards worse. I mean, the Rams are already a pretty good team, high-powered offense, and I feel like the last thing we want for them is to have another weapon, albeit one that's maybe inconsistent at times and injury prone and kind of a diva in the locker room, but I definitely think their team got better today.
Oh, I definitely think they got better, and OBJ will be probably his first real game, where he kind of maybe understands the offense, might be against us in Lambeau. So no matter what, he would be coming into Lambeau November 26th, no matter whether he signed with the Rams or the Packers. Unfortunately, it's with the Rams. I said at the beginning we're going to pretend like we didn't want him anyway because it was such a divisive, OBJ is such a dividing character. You either said you want him because he's going to make the team better, or you're going to say, oh, he's a bad, he's a cancer in the locker room. But no matter what team you're on, no matter what, whatever NFL team is your NFL team, if your team was listed in that list of teams that OBJ was potentially going to, you secretly deep down wanted him to go to your team. So for now, I'll pretend like we dodged a bullet. Thank God we don't have that cancer in our locker room. But deep down, I'm sad. That would have been fun to see him in green and gold.
Yeah, it definitely would have been fun. But an interesting point was made during the Packers Insider Inbox, and there's only one ball that can be going. There's only one ball going around, right? So if you've got Devontae Adams, you've got Aaron Jones, you've got a couple of solid number twos. We've got some really good playmakers on this team, and if OBJ had come to Green Bay and wasn't getting the ball or felt like he wasn't getting enough, to your point, could turn into a cancerous locker room situation. But yeah, I think everybody was a little bit disappointed that he wasn't going to come here. But regardless, the Packers are a solid offense despite last week's performance. And I anticipate that if Aaron Rodgers clears on Saturday, we'll be back to midseason form here come Sunday against Seattle.
Yeah, another primetime game, 3:30, game of the week again. Against the Rams here at home in Green Bay. I'm glad we're playing in Green Bay after on the road in Arizona and the Chiefs. To be in Seattle would have been tough. So I guess let's start diving into that game. Let's assume for today's conversation that we have Aaron Rodgers back. He will be on a very short week, about as short as it gets. He is allowed to be get off the COVID list here on Saturday, just about 24 hours before the game starts. Another guy who was just recently activated, we've been waiting for this a long time. It doesn't mean he's necessarily going to play, but David Bakhtiari activated off of the injured reserve list. Are you anticipating seeing David play on Sunday?
I was expecting to see him last week, to be honest with you. I mean, obviously they activated him on Wednesday because they needed to, or designate him on the IR. I'm not sure why he didn't play last week. I can only think they wanted to, have some continuity, get him some opportunities in practice before they were going to have him come out and play. But I would expect to see him on Sunday, but who knows?
Yeah, and on the other side of the ball, the other big names. I mean, we're talking big names potentially coming back, but on the other side of the ball, meaning the other sideline, Russell Wilson potentially coming back after getting bolts removed out of his finger on his throwing hand. Do you anticipate to see Russell Wilson on the field on Sunday?
Yeah, I do. I think they're going to want him to come out and play. If they want to get back on track and make a playoff run here, they're going to need him to come and play. I mean, you're talking about an offense right now that ranks 19th in the league, in points, and I think 29th in the league in total yards per game. Not a great start for them. Even though Russell Wilson is the top-rated quarterback so far this season, they just haven't really been able to get it done on offense. Even though they've got some weapons, they just haven't been able to, come up with the points or move the ball the way they have in years past.
And do you think what makes Russell so special is his make-believe football drives that he does before the games that he was out this season?
His what?
His make-believe, 2-minute drill drives. Have you not seen this?
I haven't seen this.
All right. Everyone just YouTube Russell Wilson pretends to play football or something like that. The last couple of weeks he's been out, he starts on his own goal line about an hour, during warm-ups during the game, before a game. And you can hear him, because he's mic'd up, basically. You can hear him pretending to give plays to an invisible cast of players, taking a snap, dropping back, throwing the ball to the left or right, running up the field, and he goes all the way down in a 2-minute drill, about 100 yards, pretending to call out plays and throw in passing routes.
Okay, well, first of all, what I'll say is when I was growing up, playing hockey or baseball or whatever, my dad was always like, visualization is a huge key to success. You got to visualize yourself doing something before you can actually go out and do it. And then I imagine that's kind of what Russell Wilson's doing. Not only that, but he's like, if he's running down the entire 100 yards of the field, and he's trying to get back some of those, get his legs back a little bit, just get familiar with the area around him, feel the grass under his feet. And that sound, the way you describe it sounds really goofy, but I mean, it's probably something that a lot of professionals do at some point, maybe not in front of people, but.
I'm just gonna take the cheap shot and make fun of him, and that's
what a
good
loser.
of you it's good of you to praise him, and I guess he is a Badger, so we got to be nice. But I saw that it was a few weeks ago that I think went viral, and I got a kick out of it.
I mean, if it were like Jared Goff or Carson Wentz out there doing it, I might make fun of him a little bit more. But you're talking about Russell Wilson, who, I don't know, you can make an argument that he's on path to be a potential Hall of Famer someday, but no, I hadn't seen that. That's funny, but I'll keep my eye open for it on Sunday during warm-ups to see if he does it, if he's playing.
Yeah, if he's not playing, maybe we'll see it. If he's playing, probably not. But for both teams, more seriously, this is a huge game, right? The Packers are obviously got their second loss against the Chiefs, one game that we probably, most certainly could have won with Aaron Rodgers, any given Sunday. But, we got to right the ship if there is one to be righted. We're right in it in terms of the first overall seed for the conference. If we start dropping a game or two, then I think our priorities are going to shift to just staying healthy for the rest of the year, right? And really focusing on the playoffs. But while we're still in this, one or two number one seed area in the stack rankings, this is a huge game. And this is a game that the Packers can't afford to drop because, on paper, the Seahawks are a mediocre team who are fighting for a wild card spot because they are not going to win that division with the teams that are in that division. So it's a must win for really both teams. So I think, we can expect to see a fantastic football game. Offensively, assuming, again, Aaron Rodgers is back into play, and let's not say Devontae Adams' name, but what are you looking to see to get our wheels rolling again, back how we looked against the Arizona Cardinals a few weeks ago?
Yeah, I think, again, like I said ad nauseum, it starts with the running game. I think if we can establish Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon to get some early momentum, that's going to kind of open up everything else. And I fully anticipate to see several more deep shots this game. I think the Seahawks defense, again, is probably pretty mediocre this year. They don't have they really don't have the rushing threat or the defensive backfield that we've feared over the last 5 or 6 years.
This is not the Legion of Boom.
No, correct. And I expect that we're going to try to take advantage of that and see a couple deep shots to Devontae, Lazard, or MVS. So that's kind of what I envision for this offensive game plan. Hopefully, tighten things up in the red zone. I'd love to see if we do get off to a good start on the ground to just carry that momentum through into the end zone. And we don't need to we don't need to throw it 4 times in 4 down territory at the goal line. We could just give it to AJ Dillon, have him fall forward for 2 yards into the end zone. I'm hoping to see a little bit tighter play calling in the red zone this week.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it on both sides of the ball, but offensively in particular, the last game we saw with our starting quarterback was in Arizona, and that was the game where we were all complaining about the play calls there. But regardless of what plays are called, just seeing better execution in the gold zone, because it's no longer the gold zone this year. It's anything but. Let's clean that up. And I to your point, play calling is going to be a huge part of it. Specifically, friggin' AJ Dillon's a beast, right? Like, I know Aaron Jones is our premier back, but it's hard to tell sometimes. I mean, particularly this last week against the Chiefs, that first couple drives, it felt like Dillon was the guy really getting those 8, 9, 10-yard runs where Jones is getting pushed around a little bit. Obviously, different running styles, obviously different body types, but in the 5-yard line and closer to the goal line, AJ Dillon all day, and then kind of some variations from there to fake out the D a bit.
Yeah, and how good was Randall Cobb last week after the catch? I mean, he had that one basically that catch at the line of scrimmage and ran for like 12 yards to get a first down
on third.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see a little bit of that, jet motion or jet sweep type of offense this week, trying to get Randall Cobb a couple behind the line of scrimmage and build some momentum and get a strong run from him. I'd like to see that a little bit more. I'd like to see a little bit more of Amari Rodgers as well, just because it's like he's our highly touted wide receiver draft pick. He hasn't been very good in special teams or on the offense yet. So just for my own kind of clarity, I'd love to see him play a little bit more. But I think if Randall Cobb is getting the majority of those snaps at that position, we probably won't. But selfishly, I'd like to see him incorporate a little bit.
Yeah, selfishly, I agree with you, but I just don't think we're going to see it at all. I mean, if you got Randall Cobb as our number, 4, wideout, that's a pretty solid number 4. Obviously MVS and Lazard are, 2/3, respectively. Maybe you could flip those numbers around depending on the day. But if Amari is not doing great on special teams, like you said, and that should probably be its own episode, what the heck is going on with the special teams in Green Bay. I don't know. I'm okay having Cobb, kicking ass, getting those 12-yard pickups when in clutch moments, right?
Yeah,
I don't want to test Amari out, I guess is my point in a big game.
Yeah, true. And I feel like we had a couple of flash Josiah DeGuara plays last game, and even the week before against the Cardinals. And I wouldn't hate to see him incorporate a little bit more too into the offense. I don't know how many he's going to get, but I think he had a couple of catches last week. 2 catches for 16 yards, so 8 yards a carry or 8 yards a play. He seemed pretty fast and strong in the open field. Somebody that I don't think any of us would want to tackle. So again, another guy that I think selfishly we'd like to see incorporated a little bit more, but I think his role will probably be limited for a while.
Yeah, I agree. Last bit on offense, and we already talked about Bakhtiari potentially, coming back to play this week. We've taken them for granted a little bit the last several couple years, really. I mean, the last 2 seasons, they've been among the best in the NFL. Obviously, last week we saw what a bad or leaky, I guess I'll say, offensive line could look like. So I would love to see that just, be really tightened up and just protect the heck out of Aaron or whoever's in the backfield. Obviously the Chiefs blitz the young quarterback for other reasons, right? Make the young guy make some decisions, but I would really like to see,